want. Despite the risks of giving arms to the rebels in Syria, Senator Joe Manchin told me the House vote today wasn't unexpected.
I know the pressure that's been put on. I know they've been working it hard. Leadership on both sides. When you have John Boehner and Nancy Pelosi both speaking out of the same hymnal, I don't know what the past 13 years where people have been. What else do we need to see unfold, Chris, for us to see this playing over again? And I don't know why we're going to be drawn in. And I think the president gave a good speech. He was resolute, and he came out strong, laid out a good plan, except for this part of the plan. You know, why aren't the people in the neighborhood, why aren't the Saudis stepping to the plate? Why aren't the Turks and the Jordanians and the Egyptians, why aren't all of those? Why aren't the Arab and Muslim countries and the neighbors in that who really have more to fear than anybody else, immediate fear? Why aren't they? And I said this should be a ground game. They should be the training. They should be the forces in place. They have armies ready. They have people that are trained to fight these people, these barbaric terrorists. We'll give them the air support. I'm all for that. This doesn't make any sense for us to go in and embolden them, the ISIS, and use it as a recruiting tool against us. And it just gets us more and more drawn and trapped in a civil war, and that's just what we need now, another civil war in Syria to be drawn in for how many years?
What are you planning to do when this now moves to the Senate? There's been some talk about a vote fairly soon. If through unanimous consent, are you going to object to that? What do you want to see the Senate do? What are you going to do?
I'm going to ask to separate it. I want to pull it out. I don't think it should be. At least give us the dignity of voting on it separately. So in the Senate, shouldn't we say that this is important enough that it should be a separate vote? I'm sure it's not going to change the votes, but don't you think they're making me and other people that believe as strong about this issue as I do, Chris, they're saying, okay, we're going to put it in the continuing resolution, which is what continues to fund the government for the next few months. And guess what? We're going to put one of the biggest policy decisions, foreign policy decisions, in the same thing. And I guess if you vote against it, you're saying you're voting to shut the government down. I absolutely am not. We have until the end of September. We have enough time. And this deserves a debate. It deserves separate votes. But if that's what I have to do, I will make that vote because I feel so strongly against what they're doing.
There was a report today that in a classified briefing, members of the CIA expressed some misgivings and doubts about the plan, about arming and training up Syrian rebels to fight ISIS and to fight Assad inside the Syrian border. Your reaction to that?
Well, I guess they're using their common sense. They're using their experience. They're using what history has provided to us to date. 13 years we've been in that part of the world, and I've said this, if military might or money would have changed it, we'd have done it by now, Chris. We've spent almost $1.7 trillion over there in those two wars. We've lost almost 7,000 Americans. We've wounded more than 50,000. And have we made a difference? Is Iraq safer? Is Afghanistan in good shape? Is any of this going to repeat itself? I mean, I would think I would look and say, okay, guys, this hasn't proven out too good for us. Maybe we shouldn't have a ground game over there. And let me just say this, Chris.
Please.
Even today, the new ambassador for Iraq has said, listen, your air support has helped us. We appreciate it. We don't need your ground forces. We don't want them.
Let me ask you one final question. The argument you're making, which I think is a strong and persuasive one based on the history of the last 13 years, why doesn't that also apply to airstrikes? I mean, if the idea is that military might can't make things better, why do you have confidence that airstrikes can make things better?
And we've seen the airstrikes being successful when you had a ground game with the Iraqi army in the dam that we have there in Mosul, around Mosul, the dam that we're able to go in. And then yesterday we were able to go and protect some of their troops. We can make, in that type of terrain, we can make a difference and make a level playing field for them. With that being said, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that support we have. The bottom line is that you have to have some sort of a ground game, which I do agree with. It just doesn't have to be American troops ground game. And you know, if we go in to advise, to counsel, to train, you know, I'm old enough to remember the Vietnam War. We didn't start out in a military operation. We were drawn into that as advised technicians, technical, and you see what happens. We have very, very recent history to tell us This doesn't work for us. This doesn't work. You can't put us in this. And now on top of that, Chris, you have the people that are fighting in there now are Islamic. The people that they're fighting again is the Assad regime. And both ISIL and the people we're supposed to go train are fighting the same regime.
That's right.
We're going to try to convince them to turn right now and fight ISIL. And what makes you think that they're going to be loyal to the America's desires? They're not going to adhere to that. I understand it. And anybody that thinks anything differently, unless we're just going to pay them and pay them more than anyone else and look at it as a mercenary type of job that we're paying these soldiers a fortune. It just doesn't make sense, Chris, and I would prefer us not be in this position and to put the Senate to where we don't have a chance to debate it. What we're talking about now, wouldn't you like to see all sides come to the floor of the Senate and have just a thorough debate? And we're not going to get it. So here's what we're doing. Thank God that you're allowing me to come on and talk and put my positions out there. I know that it's not going to be a good vote, basically, if people are looking at politically. I wasn't sent here by the people of West Virginia to make a political vote for myself.
Well, Senator Joe Manchin, cable news is a thin substitute for Senate debate, but I appreciate you coming on.